Hey, what's up guys? Professor Breaker is here. Patch 2.6 is out, and as you guys can see, I have prepared a tier list for patch 2.6 considering all the changes that happened and considering the new champions that have been added, Kayle and Morgana, and also the Dr. Mundo rework. So I'm gonna try to do a prediction for patch 2.6, what I think is gonna be correct for most stuff, because a lot of champions haven't really been touched. So try my best, and obviously there might be some mistakes. It might not be 100% accurate. This is a tier list based on high elo, but most stuff also apply for low elo. I try to consider both high and low elo. And if you guys like this tier list, then definitely make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and activate notifications so you guys won't miss out on any patch 2.6 content. And obviously write down your feedback, whether or not you guys agree with me on those changes. Some stuff obviously might change. Sometimes you might see the list, but you definitely need to listen to the explanation, because on some champions I will say it might differ between S or A tier or something like that. So if you guys want the 100% accurate explanation, then definitely make sure to watch the entire video. I will try to give you my thoughts for every champion. So let's get started with the Baron tier list for 2.6. S+ tier. The holy, it's not even the holy trinity, the holy quant. Wait, what's the trinity? Quad trinity? Quad trinity. Okay. The holy quad trinity of the Baron lane right now. Renekton, number... There is no in between, like there's no difference between being left or right. Like those four champions are just absolutely busted. So Renekton, he isn't touched in patch 2.6, so in my opinion he still stays in the S+ tier. One of the most balanced Baron laners, strong in the early game, strong in the mid game, very good in the laning phase, very good in 1vs1, and super strong in team fights thanks to his tanking potential and his dashing abilities. Renekton is just the whole package. If you guys want to play a very strong and not too hard to play champion in the Baron lane, then I would definitely recommend the boy Crocodile, the Crocodile boy. So Blade of the Rune King, you go this one first item, 1vs1, enhanced second ability, you almost 50% on one person just with one ability. This champion is just absolutely crazy. Definitely make sure to check out the last Renekton video I've made. Maybe I'm gonna make the plan, guys, the plan. I'm gonna make a beginner guide for every single role. So it's gonna be a Baron lane beginner guide, jungle beginner guide, etc. So if you guys are excited about that one, then definitely write your feedback in the comments, or write something. Yes, Darkbreaker, I want to see the Baron lane beginner guide. So I will cover how to play the Baron lane, play the jungle, play the mid lane, ADC, and support. What are the key things you guys need to know about each role, and what are the key decision makings you guys need to learn. So I will try to cover this one in an in-depth guide for each one of those roles. Anyways, might do guides for each of those high tier champions as well, if you guys want to see that one. A lot of talking, but hey, maybe you guys want to see that content as well, so you guys can leave some feedback. Next one is gonna be Camille. Camille, the girl, very consistent in the lane. She almost doesn't lose any matchups. I think her hardest matchup is probably like Riven, because Riven can dash in, do tons of damage, and burst her quickly enough. But otherwise she can do pretty much even or pretty solid against most champions. Tons of utility thanks to her ultimate, her mobility, strong split pusher. She is just a very consistent and solid champion, and when it comes to solo queue, consistency is the key. Next one, Riven. This champion, untouched, tons of damage, 1vs1, insanely strong. Teamfight wise, she can pop off like crazy as well. Great snowboarding champion. Fiora, one of the best split pushers in the game. Insane early game, probably the most obnoxious early game you can face. when it comes to any bruisers in this game. Her snowball potential is crazy, her split push is crazy. If she gets fed, she can also carry team fights if you're very proficient. But I would say S+ tier if you are a pro Fiora, otherwise like S tier. So this is a champion, high skill ceiling. Riven also high skill ceiling, but not as much as Fiora. Like Riven is easier to play or less punishing than a Fiora. Now next one might be, I'm not sure. Kayle can be A tier, she can be S tier or S+ tier. It really depends on her base stats and her scaling. I do believe minimum S tier sounds fine to me. Like if all her base stats are shit, A tier. But if she has fine base stats, it's S tier. And if she has good base stats and scaling, she might be even S+ tier. For now, I put her S tier. But I do think she might be S+ tier, considering she's a ranged Baron laner that has 1 vs 9 potential like Jax in the late game. So she is a ranged Jax with an ultimate that makes her immune to damage. So she can be the super carry, and she's also very good against melee champions because she's long range. And even if you have like Renekton, Camille, Riven that wanna go all in on you, you have your ultimate for safety. You can farm up. Like the main focus on Kayle is usually to just farm up. If you get some early kills against melee champions, that's a bonus. But at the moment, and especially because Wild Rift is a fast-paced game, she's gonna scale very quickly. So I do believe she might be S+ tier. I put her S tier for now, cautiously, because I'm not sure how good she's gonna be. But I will give you an update once I've played her a few times in the Baron lane. But yeah, S or S+ tier is my prediction for Kayle right now. Jace received a pretty significant buff for his base stats, for his hammer form, and for the poke damage. I think for beginners or for people that are not proficient on him, he might just be A tier. But if you are really good on Jace, I do believe he is a solid S tier right now. His melee form does tons of damage, and then you just finish them off with a poke form. Shouldn't play too much about with the poke form because it doesn't do too much damage. Yes, they buffed it, but his hammer form literally does 50% on any champion. You just need to try to kite them afterwards. But yeah, I think Jace is a very good champion, both in the jungle, mid lane, and in the Baron lane. The next one, Darius in solo queue. He's a pretty good champion. When you get ahead, you have a great 1 vs 9 potential. He's solid in the early game, and overall a pretty solid juggernaut. Now for the A tier, I just put so many champions in A tier because I don't feel like they make the step into the S tier. But they are very solid. They are super solid champions for the A tier. And so Dr. Mundo rework. I've played him pre-rework already in the Baron lane, and I think he's pretty solid. So it's gonna be exciting to see how well he can do after the rework. I think he's minimum A tier, at least, but might be better. Might even be better. Tryndamere, I've made a video for him with the static Blade of the Rune King build, and I think he's a solid A tier. His early game might not be the best, but his late game scaling is insane. One issue is that he can get kited and crowd control can fuck him up, but overall A tier seems fine. Cannon, actually maybe A tier, A-, more like A- after the nerfs. Like, I don't know why they nerfed Cannon. I think he was fine. I think he even needed a buff, but hey, A tier or A- should be fine for Cannon. Pantheon, overall a pretty solid Baron laner. Early game, he's pretty good. He can join teamfights pretty early on with the ultimate, but his scaling is horrible and he falls off completely in the mid-late game. Akali, I don't think she is the greatest in the Baron lane. She gets punished a lot in the early game because of her energy. I think she's better in the mid lane, but a solid A tier is fine. Olaf, I put him in the A tier because he can do solid in almost any matchup, and he's pretty good in the meta where he can counter CC comms or kiting, or comms that rely a lot on CC for the kiting. And he's pretty good into tanks as well because of his true damage. Diana overall a pretty solid Baron laner, A tier. Sounds fine for me. She's very broken in the mid lane, but Baron lane should be fine. A tier. Malphite, great tanky champion. If you guys want to play a tanky champion, then Malphite is the way to go. Ultimate, pretty sexy. Split pushing wise, he is kind of meh. He's very good in team fights. Very good in team fights. But if you play against a champion that is really good at split pushing, the Malphite can't really join team fights too often, and he has to hold his lane. So that's why I just put him A tier. And he doesn't win, like, he doesn't win too many matchups. Garen, I would say overall a pretty solid tanky bruiser. Wukong, also solid tanky team fighting bruiser, but struggles against a few top lane champions in 1v1s and gets outscaled in 1v1, but obviously in team fighting. Team fighting wise, his ultimate is very good. Yasuo, I put him A tier. I think he could even be S tier if you're very proficient on him and you're like a super skilled Yasuo player. I could definitely see him being S tier even. But overall, a pretty solid champion, especially if you have knockups in your team comp. He can be pretty solid, and 1v1 he's definitely not that weak. I would say he loses to Renekton, to Riven, to Darius, probably to Fiora as well, so that's why I just put him A tier, because he's not the greatest 1v1 against all those strong bruisers. Aurelia, after the nerf, I would say she's like A or A minus after the nerfs, because the passive nerf is pretty huge in my opinion. Like, it's a huge damage nerf, and I feel like all the other champions above Aurelia right now in the S and S plus tier just do her work better. They are better 1v1, they are better team fighting, and they don't fall off in late game as hard as Aurelia. Jax kinda tricky. I would say A tier seems pretty good to me. He has a solid 1v1, he's one of the best split pushers, and he has one of the best late game scalings for any bruiser. So Jax definitely solid A tier, might even make it to the AA plus or S minus, but I think A seems fair to me. Lee Sin, A tier, pretty overall cheesy top laner, can make a lot of plays happen. I feel like he's kind of underrated in the Baron lane because not many people play him in the Baron lane except for Leon, for example, who popped off with Lee Sin so many times. Jarvan, overall a pretty solid tanky bruiser in the Baron lane, has tons of crowd control for team fights and can hold the lane pretty well, but he gets outscaled and then he can't hold the lane anymore. Gregor's AP, not tanky build in the Baron lane, AP build, I think it's pretty solid. And it's the Baron lane, honestly it's not that bad. New Alistair Baron lane video coming out soon, especially against champions that don't have healing and they have physical damage. Alistair Baron lane is pretty solid. You just want to avoid facing split pushers. Vayne, Baron lane kinda cheesy, can be punished. Singe, kinda weak. He scales pretty well though. Teemo, he's a lane bully, but he's not that strong anymore as lane bully, and his damage overall is not that great. I think he's okay. Aksham Baron lane, he's okay. He's okay. Like, it's situational, but overall he can get punished pretty hard. I think in the mid lane he's way better. Nasus, he's too scaling, he's too AFK farming. I don't like his playstyle. I don't think it's good for solo queue, like where you just sit in your lane, AFK farm, and pray that your bot lane is doing fine. Grace, after the nerfs, I think B tier. He's not that good in the Baron lane. Like, he's okay in some matchups, but overall he is better in the jungle. Galio, I just put him for fun because I see some people use him in the Baron lane. I think it's okay, but nothing too special. Mid lane and support, much better. Rengar, D tier, because it's int in the Baron lane. He's so good in the jungle, don't play him in the Baron lane. He, like, unless you cheese level 2, you lose every single matchup super hard. Like, he's such a cheesy level 2 champion in the Baron lane, but if you don't get cheesy, everyone just fucks him. Anyways, let's go for jungle. Jungle. S+ tier for Kha'Zix and Lee Sin. I don't think I need to explain how broken those champions are in the jungle and how good they can snowball. Kha'Zix, super strong. His isolation. If you are fed, you do like 50 to 80% with just one first ability, isolated. His snowballing is crazy, same for Lee Sin. Super ganking playmaker. And then for S tier, guys, disclaimer, I put Morgana S tier because she might be really good in the jungle if the damage on the second ability onto monsters is not nerfed like on PC, because she was very popular in the PC version in the jungle. So the question, this is a big question, by the way. It's a big question if she's viable in the jungle. If she is viable in the jungle, she's gonna be S tier. If she's not viable, then put her out of the jungle tier list. This is a prediction. If she's gonna be viable, then she's gonna be a solid S tier. Second ability for jungle clear speed. First ability to root people. It's a free gank, and ultimate also free stun. If she's working in the jungle, because her second ability allows her to clear the jungle quickly enough, she's S tier. If it doesn't work, just put her out of the jungle tier list. Big disclaimer, guys, okay? Rengar, I wasn't sure if I put him S+ tier or S tier. I'm just gonna put him S tier. He's a very snowbally and strong champion. He can carry games in low elo very easily and in high elo as well. Same for Evelynn. I think she's weaker than Rengar, but overall still a solid S tier. Jace, after the recent buff, I think he's very good in the jungle. If you guys want to see a Jace jungle video, you guys need to tell me. I think he's very good, and people have no idea or underestimate his power in the jungle. Riven, S tier. Do I have to explain? This champion is broken. Renekton, underrated in the jungle. I've played him like 5 times, and I've won 5 times with Renekton jungle in Grandmaster Challenger Elo. This champion is so broken that he also works in the jungle. He's tanky, he has CC, he has mobility. What else do you want? And his jungle clear speed is not that bad. Jack's jungle, Huiba. Any Huiba enjoyers? Very good. Maybe not as good as competitive, because you play around the Baron side a lot, and if your bot lane griefs, then you have a problem. But his late game scaling is just absolutely crazy. I think in competitive he's a solid S or S+ tier, and in solo queue he can still be S tier if your bot laner don't giga grief. Sinchar got the buff, so I would put him a solid S tier. Olaf S tier, still very good Baron laner. I mean, very good jungler. True damage, very quick jungle clear, and crowd control, immunity thanks to the ultimate. Nunu, even though he got buffed, he's still a solid tanky jungler. He is the tanky AP ganking version of Lee Sin. Ganks, tons of utility. I think he's a solid S tier. Vi, A tier. I think she is pretty solid, but not OP or not very strong. Yeah. Amumu got buffed, but I don't feel like it's a buff, to be honest. I feel like, I don't know. He gets the double Q. He has better base damage on the second ability, but the scaling is worse. He has the ultimate range got nerfed as well. I don't know. I just put him A tier for now because I assume it's a buff, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Amumu. I think A tier is solid for him. Trinomer, A tier, seems fair to me. He scales like a truck. Dr. Mundo, I'm really not sure how good he is in the jungle. I'm gonna put him A tier for now. I think that's the minimum expectation I have for Dr. Mundo in the jungle. He might be even S tier, but I think he's just A tier. Pantheon A tier, snowbally as fuck, but he falls off. Wukong, he's a pretty solid jungler. Late game, he is just a ultimate bot. He obviously has the ultimate for teamfights, which is pretty good. Aurelia, I think she was fine in the jungle beforehand, but the nerf on the passive is gonna hurt her damage a lot. I don't know. I'm gonna put her A tier for now. I probably would say A- tier. A-. Jarvan, solid jungler, tanky utility jungler, tons of CC, good ganker. Fiora, I'm not sure. I've seen a few people start using Fiora in the jungle again, and she's being used in at the Horizon Cup as well in the jungle. I think she's a solid A tier. Graves got nerfed, so he might just be A- tier or A tier. Because I think he was very popular at the Horizon Cup, but I don't think he's that popular in solo queue, and I don't think he's that strong in solo queue either. Camille, I think she's still okay, but I'm just gonna put her B tier because her jungle clear speed is kind of shit now. Shyvana B tier. I think she's actually not that bad, but she's so reliant on the dragon that I don't like that playstyle, that you're so reliant on every single dragon. You can play around the herald or around the other side and give up your dragon. It's just so important on how to get the dragons. Rammus, tanky, jungler, I don't think he's that good. Gregor's got a buff in the jungle, but I still don't think he's good. I've played with Vex one time, and he was AP jungle Gregor. It felt so weak. His damage is so weak. I don't know. I don't feel it. Master Yi B tier. If you have CC, you can counter this champion so easily. Waldbrand! Brand, I don't think it's that good in the jungle. C tier. Singed, I put him C tier for fun, but I do believe he's B tier. His jungle clear speed is not bad, his ganking potential is not bad. C tier. Diana, jungle clear speed, trash as fuck. Darius gets kited, jungle clear speed is okay. Could be B tier to be honest. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the jungle tier list. I think the biggest dark horse is Morgana. Either she works in the jungle and then she's very strong, or she doesn't work and you can just strike her out like this. Anyways, mid tier. This is interesting and hard for me to say, but S+ tier, even though Z got nerfed, I don't think the nerf matters at all for pro players or very good Z players or Z one-trick ponies. Z S+ tier, solo queue and competitive, same for Diana. If you guys are watching Horizon or you guys have been paying attention, Zed and Diana both in solo queue and competitive, super fucking strong. Super strong, super strong. But I should put disclaimer, for Zed you need to be very proficient on him. Like, high skill ceiling. High skill ceiling, S+ tier. If you're not a pro Zed, then just S tier, okay? Morgana. That's the question, S tier or S+ tier? I think she fits the meta very well. The second ability, wave clear, free. You just clear the wave super easily. Any fucking fight in the river, you hit your root, the first ability. You hit your first ability, you win. You automatically win, because it's like a 2-second root. If you get rooted, you activate the ultimate, boom, sayonara. Dragon team fight. You hit the root, you activate the shield on yourself, you activate your ultimate, you activate Zonya's. It's a wrap. And I think the spell shield is very useful. She has her root, tons of damage. The second ability reduces magic resistance, if I'm not wrong. Third ability blocks magic damage and crowd control, as long as the shield is not broken. And ultimate AoE stun after 2 seconds. Like, you're binding them, and after 2 seconds they're all getting stunned and taking tons of damage. I think she is gonna be very minimum S tier. I do believe she might be S+ tier. Yes, Road of Age got nerfed. Road of Age would be very good on Morgana, but she's just a tanky crowd control mage overall. I think she is very good. Minimum S tier. I'm gonna predict S+ tier. That's my prediction. Prediction breaker. Kayle. She might struggle a little bit more in the mid lane than in the top lane, because she will face ranged champions that can poke her down. But if you guys are familiar to lore PC, there are a bunch of Kayle mid lane enjoyers that make it to 2K LP at the Korean leaderboard. I think it was Nemesis or something. Focus on farming, late game scaling 1 versus 9, and you scale way easier in Wild Rift compared to LoL PC, because the game is more fast paced. So if you farm up safely under the turret, you're chilling, you get into the late game 1 versus 9. I'm gonna put her S tier for now because I'm not sure how well or how OP she's gonna be in the late game. But if her late game is a 1 vs 9 OPness, she might even be S plus tier. S tier for now, potential to be S plus tier. Because I feel like a lot of people underestimate how good Kayle can be in the mid lane as well. Because she can free farm, free scale, and then late game it's shoo, 1 vs 9, you just get clapped. Jace after the buff, a solid S tier. Melee form, you jump onto someone, everyone gets blown up by 50% minimum just from the melee form. You switch forms and then you just use the EQ on them, doing tons of damage. I think he's a very solid S tier champion. Akshan, pretty broken. I wasn't sure if I put him S plus tier. I think S tier is fine for him. He's super strong right now. The revive is broken, his damage is broken. Twisted Fate got a pretty huge nerf. I think he's still S tier, but he might even be A tier. He definitely moved down. He was S plus tier, so I'm moving him down to S tier. But he might be even worse than S tier. For now, I'm gonna put him still in S tier. But the ultimate nerf is gonna hurt him. The second ability cooldown is gonna hurt him as well. Aurelia received a pretty huge nerf on the passive. Big damage nerf. I think she was S plus tier before in patch 2.5. But now she is just S tier, maybe S minus or A plus. Not sure, have to see how much the damage is gonna nerf her. But passive nerf is probably a very huge nerf because most of the damage comes from the passive and then the attack speed with Blade of the Rune King. So I think that's a pretty huge nerf. Akali in the mid lane, I think she's a pretty solid S tier. Fizz also very good assassin in the mid lane. Aurelion Soul, I think why I put him S tier is just his roaming ability and his teamfight damage and crowd control. Corki, solid S tier forever. He didn't get touched, so I'm still keeping him S tier. Galio, still S tier as well. Strong damage, utility, taunt, AoE, ultimate to join teamfights, knock them up. Very good playmaker. Katarina, one of the best snowballing champions in solo queue. Veigar got a pretty significant buff, so I'm just gonna put him S tier for now. I don't think it's gonna put him into S plus tier, but a solid, very solid S tier. Yasuo for skilled players, S tier. Ziggs got a pretty decent nerf, but I had him S plus tier before last patch, so I'm just gonna put him S tier for now after the nerfs, but he's still very strong. Pantheon in the mid lane, kinda snowbally. It's okayish, but he falls off. Orianna, solid mid laner. Renekton for some matchups can be pretty good. Riven for some matchups can be pretty good, but not as consistent. These are like counter matchups, like you pick them to counter some champions. Ahri overall, pretty solid champion. Camille, I'm not sure, maybe Ahri S tier. I'm not sure, I'm just gonna put her A tier. Camille, maybe B or A tier. I think she's very solid in the mid lane as well to counter some matchups. Like, she's a counter pick for some champions here. Gragas, I think he's solid, but nothing too special. Brand is okay, pretty solid. Lucian, pretty solid. I think Trinomere, B tier, seems fine. It's a counter pick into some matchups. I think he can do fine, but nothing too special. Evelyn much better in the jungle. She isn't as broken in the mid lane, and her clear speed is okay. I just feel like a lot of those champions just outperform her. Cannon as well. After the nerfs, I think he's so weak. You play him in the Baron lane, otherwise put him C tier maybe even. I don't know, maybe C tier. Because they nerf his auto attack range, and every other champion will just poke him down. She's okay, nothing special. She's okay, nothing special. Graves, I mean, I just put him for fun because some people like to play mid lane, but he's very weak in the mid lane and he gets fucked by almost everyone here. Annie, after the nerf, after the changes, maybe B tier. I'm putting C tier right here, but maybe she is still B tier. Lulu, I don't think it's good mid lane. Just play a support, or even Baron lane might work better. But yeah, I think Zed, Diana are pretty accurate, and they are all pretty strong, so I just put them S tier. Morgana, not sure. S plus or S tier? Sorry. Okay, ADCs. Vayne. Vayne is a must-have SS+. She's super broken. 1 vs 9 with Lulu. Her damage is way too broken. Misfortune. She got a pretty huge buff. I put her S+. I think she's more like S tier, but I put her S+. Because I feel like the extra movement speed might make her really, really strong. Like late game, you have 80% movement speed. Do you know how hard it is gonna be to catch Misfortune? And her AD, like her ultimate already did so much damage, and her ultimate got buffed so much. So I feel like the ultimate in teamfight, if you hit one time your ultimate completely for free, you are just gonna straight up wipe everyone in that teamfight. Like imagine a Misfortune positioning herself with Mortal Reminder using ultimate. You are literally almost killing everyone with your ultimate now. The only counter for that ultimate is Braum. I think she might be S tier, but I feel the potential of the ultimate and the second ability. I feel the potential. So another one is Saya. Saya got nerfed, that's why I put her from S+ tier to S tier. I think it's a pretty significant nerf on the second ability. And the base AD. The base AD nerf is pretty significant, to be honest. Ashe got a buff on her base AD, so that's why I put her S tier. I think that's gonna be a pretty significant buff for her. Varus, I wasn't sure if I put him S+ tier or S tier. I'm just gonna put him S tier for now. Because he's a poking champion, Lethality Varus or AP Varus. But Vayne with the 1 vs 9 super potential. Okay, maybe I put Misfortune too high. I mean, it's the clickbait for the hype, right? Misfortune clickbait with ultimate and ability. Movement speed, I mean on the second ability. I think the ultimate is going to be way too nutty. I believe the ultimate is going to be so strong that in late game, you hit your ultimate in the Dragon Pit or Baron Pit, everyone dies. That's my prediction. Saya, Varus, yep, Corki solid. APC 6, I think it's still going to be solid. The nerfs might hurt him, but S- or A+ tier. Draven, super strong snowbody, ADC champion. Kai'Sa, super solid. Caitlyn got nerfed on the ultimate, but still very solid, still S tier. APC, Orianna, and Brand, and Veigar, I think they are all pretty fine as APC champions. APC Brand looks pretty good at the Horizon Cup. Jinx, Lucian, Ezreal, Tristana. Yeah. Wait, did I forgot Lucian in the mid lane? Oh yeah, I did. Oh no, I didn't. Lucian A tier as well. Maybe he's S tier. Jinx A tier for sure. Ezreal, once he has 3 items, he's super strong, but I feel like he's just A tier. Lucian, I've seen a lot of Lucians popping off like crazy. Okay, let's put Lucian S tier. Lucian S tier. Actually, Lucian is one of those champions that annoy me the most. Lucian annoys me so fucking hard actually because of his mobility and his damage. Yeah, let's put him S tier. Tristana A tier. Senna B tier. I think she's way better as support. Jhin is so bad, don't play him, please. Like one of the weakest ADCs. Like if you look at those, they are not ADCs. He's literally the weakest ADC compared to anyone else here. I mean, I know Project Jhin is coming out soon, which is gonna be hype, but meh. I don't think he's strong. His damage is so weak. That's the issue. Crucifate as ADC is meh. Akshan meh. Jace meh. Like you will get bullied in the early game so hard on those champions. Every single champion here is getting completely bullied by all the other champions. Sorry. Okay, support. S+ tier Senna. She also got a buff. She also got a buff. A buff on her ultimate. S+ tier, very good. Nami, super strong. Pila, Enchanter. Same for Lulu. Rakan, one of the most broken playmaking champions right now. Morgana. Hey, Morgana, new champion. I think for now I just put her S tier, but I do believe Senna and Morgana together could be so strong. Like Morgana as APC or Morgana as support with Senna. Senna Morgana combo could be very good. Morgana has crowd control, she has the spell shield, she has long range poke, she has wave clear, she's definitely a solid champion. Galio playmaking tanky champion with tons of crowd control, same for Alistair Braum. Braum also got Peeler, and he can block the ultimate of Misfortune, which is very good. Gragas got buffed, and overall a very good tanky playmaking support. Janna, a very solid enchanter. But I feel like those enchanters are just way better, Nami and Lulu. Lulu Vayne combo, Nami Varus combo, it's just so broken. Leona, very solid playmaking tanky champion. But I feel like Alistair's ultimate is broken. Braum's shield very strong. Braum's ultimate, I mean, I'm not sure if they are even different. Like, I think they're all at a very similar level. Soraka, she got a slight heal buff, but overall not that good in my opinion. Lux, she is okay as a support. Same for Sona and Seraphine. Those are like the poking, damage dealing supports. But I would say the enchanters or the playmaking supports are just way better. Support brand, I don't think that's so good. APC brand makes more sense. And Blitzcrank is way too cheesy. He's not consistent enough. But yeah, that's my opinion on the... Oh, that's my predictions for patch 2.6. Write down your feedback down below in the comments. Definitely make sure to listen to all the explanations, because as you guys can see, I'm switching in between, or they are pretty close sometimes. Like the Lucian here, actually Lucian S tier, not A tier, S tier. Or the Morgana jungle, where it's like a big question mark. If she's viable, she's S tier. If she's not viable, she's just mid lane and support. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, and I see you next time. Bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.